3 million views later and you guys are demanding this garlic bread recipe. It's honestly so easy. I just really finely dice 6 to 8 garlic cloves and mix that in with about 200 grams of butter and 100 grams of really finely grated Parmesan cheese. And then add a few tablespoons of finely chopped parsley and give it all a really good mix so it's nice and combined. I then just cut a loaf of ciabatta in half and I just spread a nice thick layer of the garlic butter onto the bread. I then bake this for about 10 to 12 minutes in a 200 degrees Celsius oven just until it's nice and golden brown. I then just sprinkle over a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese, chop it up, and I served it with a nice big bowl of pasta. And that's why.
So I asked you guys what you call this, and it made me realize how many cultures have this delicious flaky flatbread. I ended up making it with some cilantro and garlic butter, and oh my god, you guys have to try it. It gave it this beautiful crispy exterior and soft interior. You can find the written recipe on my Instagram. The dough is made with just flour, hot water, a pinch of salt, and half a teaspoon of baking powder. After you make the dough, let it rest for a few minutes and then form them into equal sized small balls. You should have enough to make about 4. I roll each ball out into a really thin rectangle, spread my garlic butter mixture on top, and then roll it into a log kind of like you would with cinnamon rolls. Then you're going to want to stretch out the log and form it into a spiral. This is going to give you lots and lots of layers and it's going to make it really flaky. Let it sit for 5 minutes and then roll it out into a circle. Brush some more garlic butter on top, and then cook it with about a tablespoon of oil on a hot pan. Look how delicious that looks.
This is basadella. It's one of my favorite pasta dishes because it's so saucy, flavorful, and easy to make. Put your pasta on, then dice your onions and tomatoes and cook. Now you can leave berbere out for the non-spicy version, but you know I couldn't do that. Next, blend black pepper, cloves, cumin, and a cinnamon stick and add to the sauce. Also add salt, garlic, jalapenos, a little pasta water, and tomato sauce or tomato paste. Cover and simmer for about 10 minutes, and once it looks like this, dump in your pasta with some of its water and then cook until the sauce thickens and coats the pasta. And that's it. I took this in for work the next day and everyone was talking about how amazing it smelled. It was immaculate.
French fried corn dogs are my favorite of all the newer Korean street foods. Korean corn dogs are usually made with a yeasted batter by combining warm water, sugar, and yeast and letting it sit for a couple minutes before mixing. Add salt and flour, mix until smooth, and set aside to rise for 1 hour. Cut a potato into small cubes and soak them in water, then skewer your favorite hot dog or sausage links. I like these thicker and dewy sausage links, and I want cheese and sausage in every single bite, so I'm wrapping cheese slices around it. Drain and pat the potatoes dry, toss them in cornstarch and a pinch of salt, then lay some panko breadcrumbs next to them. The batter should be doubled in size by now. Dip the skewer into it using a twisting motion to coat it as evenly as possible. You may need to use your fingers to move it around. Just make sure the batter isn't too thick or too thin. Roll the skewer over the potatoes first, then roll it into the panko using your hands to firmly pack it in and shape the corn dog. When you're happy with the shape, immediately fry it at 350 degrees for 4 to 5 minutes. This is the color that we're looking for, then rest on a cooling rack and top with a sprinkle of sugar, ketchup, and mustard.
I thought I'd show you guys how I make my crispy chicken burgers because they're pretty good. I start with the marinade and I didn't have any buttermilk this time, so I just used some milk with a little bit of lemon. Here I'm using chicken breasts and I let them marinate for a few hours. For the flour mix, honestly just use as much spices as you can, it makes such a difference in the flavour. And then here I'm showing how I make my spicy mayo. It's super easy and it tastes amazing. When it comes to coating the chicken, I like to mix some of the wet mixture in the dry so that it gives it a really flaky crust. And of course, if you want it to be extra thick and crispy, you want to double dip or even triple dip. Leave it to rest for a few minutes and that way the coat won't separate when you're frying, and then it should look something like this. And then you can go ahead and build the burger with anything you like, and that's basically it.